This is why you raised your hand and you said, I want to come at this time because that's when it gets juicy. I'm here to pioneer something that has not been done by very many women. It's a big mission, scares me at times, but every time I get back in the fear frequency with sovereignty, I go back to my soul remembrance. I go back to my bigger mission.
Welcome to the Energy Upgrade Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Grutman. And if you are a high-achieving woman, a successful entrepreneur, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just a woman with kick-ass big dreams, you're in the right place. If you value your energy, your health, if you want to be a biohacker, tap into longevity, if you want to raise the impact you have in this lifetime, you're going to have a lot of fun around here. As a second-time seven-figure business creator, certified health practitioner, and soul biohacker, I'm here to reconnect you to your energy, to the soul of your business, and to your superpowers. Let's go. Welcome home.
Welcome, my friends, to a very special episode of the Energy Upgrade. This is your host, Vanessa Grutman. I'm coming to you on this episode 122, which of course is an angelic number, the number of positive change, the number of manifestation, quantum leaps. It's just a very powerful number. And I'm coming with quite an announcement. And I want this to almost feel, I would love if today's episode could feel for you like a transmission, almost like a sacred ceremony. And so wherever you are right now, I invite you to just kind of tune in for what I'm about to share. If ever you're driving, maybe just go back to another episode you missed and then keep this one. Save it for a moment where perhaps you can close your eyes with me so it feels, like I said, like a potent transmission. So today I'm coming after 121 episodes, consecutive episodes where I did not miss a single week of the Energy Upgrade podcast with a news that perhaps you have felt coming, something that, again, no surprise, was shown to me in Egypt, something that started to really kind of I'm not going to lie, it took me by surprise at first. My mind was resisting it. But when I really fully dropped into the frequency and the energy, it was really clear that just like I recently closed the club, the Energy Upgrade podcast, as we know it now, felt complete as well. Now, obviously, your head might be spinning like, oh my gosh, I've been loving this space. And trust me, I have been resisting it as well because you're hundreds of people here tuning in week after week into this free, abundant content that I have shared here week after week for the last 121 weeks. So this feels really, really sacred. And for me, this conversation, this transmission today is really not about a goodbye, but the closing of a chapter of one version of myself. I feel like in the last couple months, I have quantum leaped in ways I never even knew were possible. I am slowly coming out of this mystical cocoon, we'll call it, and coming out with so much clarity on what's ahead, so much clarity on my soul mission. And looking back, I'm able to appreciate how everything I've built here under the Energy Upgrade frequency was so pristine. It was so heart-led. It was coming from a place of truly wanting you to take full ownership and control of your health, of your longevity, of your wellness, of your business, of your power. And now, obviously, we're not closing this, we're just evolving. There's a new upgrade wanting to emerge. And while I don't want to announce quite yet how and when and what the next evolution will look like, what I can tell you is today's episode will be the last one as you know it under the Energy Upgrade. And we can feel it together, this moment. And the reason why I said, if you can listen to this and in as a transmission, as a meditation with your eyes closed, is because if you have been tuning into my energy, if you have been tuning into my voice for that long, if you have been one of those people who has been loyal since day one, first of all, I I honor you. I respect you. I thank you so much because you were the quiet, the silent whisper, the wind that kept me going. So for that, I will always be grateful. So thank you. But here's the other thing. You are part of this journey with me, meaning as I'm currently sharing more about this upgrade and this evolution I have been encountering, the truth is you're probably feeling the same. You're probably feeling in your life right now that you are at the edge of a massive threshold. You probably feel like there's one foot in the past, one foot in the future, and that perhaps there's an invitation to take that foot that is in the past and move both forward. The way I'm feeling this in my body, this moment, how it's been building for me since the month of March, the beginning of 2025. And of course, it's no surprise. And I'm in my numerology year 7, which is the year of massive spiritual awakening, but also massive readjusting before we can create our true impact in the world. And so I invite you, if you don't know what numerology year you're in right now, I invite you, you can simply just Google it and figure out every year, of course, it changes. So I'm in year 7. And year 7 is a very, very strong, pivotal year where you're kind of on the cusp of something massive. But here's the thing, because I'm feeling, I'm sensing this timeline closing, not only with people that are in a year 7, but with all my clients. And for you, it might come in different shape or form. But the truth is, what I'm doing right now, the invitation I'm offering you, is the invitation to actually see it for yourself also as a timeline not only closing for me, but for you as well. And so, we're not just ending a podcast here. We're really honoring the season of healing we went through together. I mean, the last 121 episodes were really about healing our physical, spiritual, and energetic bodies so that we could remember, so that our soul could come back online. And so, we can honor this time right now where we are kind of shifting into acceleration. We are shifting into a season of awakening, strong remembering, and most importantly, becoming. And I feel like as I'm opening this new field of energy, of frequency that feels so true in my body, I know that I'm also inviting you with me to consider and acknowledging, but also giving yourself permission to feel that timeline closing as well. So perhaps as you're sitting here and your head is kind of like twisting, ask yourself, what are some of the things that you know have been have been in the background, have been lingering, have been potentially even energetically keeping you stuck? What are these things? And are you ready to close that timeline? And I know right now this is the number one question I get whenever I share things like this, but how? And my answer to you, because trust me, I've been fighting with the how as well in this transformation. It actually doesn't matter what the how is. What matters is who you are becoming. What matters is the frequency, the embodiment, the person that you are becoming. What decision would she make? How would she dress in the morning? How would she walk into a room? What would she say yes to? And what would she say heck no to? And really starting to honor that and make all decisions, step in every room, make the hard calls and do the things that have been asking you to be done for so long. And so as I'm announcing here that the Energy Upgrade podcast, as you know it, is coming to a close on episode 122, which of course is no surprise. why I wanted to end on that number, I'm inviting you to also really think back on the last years that we've spent together on this journey. And it is important that you bring some awareness into it, because my desire is that you realize that here we can spend years and years and years trying to heal deeper and deeper. And at one point, it's really important to realize that we have done enough healing and that we have what we need for our next step, that we are fully prepared, fully ready to start embodying that next version of ourselves, that we can start embodying this frequency that we can feel in our cells and our bones. Perhaps our head is having a hard time catching up to it, but the truth is, you know what I'm talking about. And so my goal as I move forward into this next evolution is to start calling you higher, is to start really transmitting this frequency so that you can remember, and to start bringing you back to it so that your mind at one point will catch up. And the truth is, I could have kept easily this podcast open. I have so many incredible people in my network, healers that, you would benefit from learning from. But at one point I realized I don't want to be I don't want the conversation to be on healing forever, because I do believe that that the evolution is necessary. Because at one point, the more we focus on healing, the more we dwell on the past, the more we start creating that vortex that actually spirals downwards. And what, as human beings, we have been encoded for is to actually bring more light in all its forms, to bring more light to the world, to become physically, energetically, and spiritually lighter. And this is really what my mission is. And so we've done the healing. And the truth is, the library of the Energy Upgrade podcast is not going to go anywhere. You can go back to all the episodes that you may have missed. You can go back to some of the old ones. That knowledge there, you can literally heal yourself at the root cause simply by tapping into the knowledge I offered in these episodes. And I am not kidding. In fact, I have received multiple testimonials of women who have just done that. They decided to put actions into everything they heard. Instead of just passively listening to the episodes, they took action. They started to see their energy shifting. They started to see their gut healing. They started to see their body detoxifying. They started to be more aware of their emotions. And frankly, there is nothing that makes me happier, because that was the frequency and the intention of the Energy Upgrade podcast. And now it feels like, seriously, you can go back to all of it and heal yourself in so many ways that you may not even have considered. And I know this to be true. I know that this is a fantastic library that will continue to live with me. Yet there is something else that is calling me. And I can't wait to take you on that journey as well. If you decide to look at this timeline closing and this opportunity to step forward into your next evolution, into the evolution of your light, into the expansion of your frequency. I've shared this before, but one of my true desire is that as women, we start completely allowing the crumble of the patriarchal way of success that we've been shown for the past 2,000 years. I want us as women to feel safe to be seen again. I want us to feel safe to use our voice, to share our gifts, to be loud, to be unapologetic about how we can connect with different dimensions, connect with the sun, the stars, hear the calling, hear the intuition, hear the messages, be guided, take action, heal with our hands, heal with our words, heal women into their remembrance. I want to guide you on that journey back to you. Did you know there's a hidden archetype secretly creating your reality? Not the version of you show to the world, but the one shaping your choices, your energy, and the timeline you're living in. I created a quiz to help you uncover her. It's called the Hidden Archetype Guiding Your Next Reality Quiz, and it reveals the feminine frequency that is running beneath your life right now, and the identity your soul is ready to rise into. You'll find out which archetype is holding your current timeline: the Phoenix, the Oracle, the Sovereign, the Mystic, or the Dream Weaver, and the portal that leads you into your next evolution. Seriously, take 3 minutes. Meet the version of you that's been waiting. The quiz is linked in the show notes. Because what I know for sure, and I've spoken many times about this, we know that the next couple of years for human beings on planet Earth is not going to be all pink and rosy. We know that chaos is already making itself seen in a pretty big way. Why? Because there's going to be a clear divide, and it's going to become clearer and clearer from people who stand in fear, who decide to let fear guide their actions, their words, who decide to shrink because of fear, who decide to trust sources outside of themselves and give that more power than their power. Now, unfortunately, on that side where people are fed fear, it's all by design. Of course, because human beings are infinite beings of potential, of remembrance, when we know and we connect back to our power. And so the divide in the matrix is going to start to make itself really clear and really strong. On one end, people that still subscribe to that fear frequency, to that belief that everything like the government, school system, the religion system has more power than you. And on what end, we're going to start creating the new earth. We're going to have more and more individuals remembering their light, remembering their gifts. We're going to have a lot more individuals, especially women, that are going to start feeling safe again, to be seen, to start making wealth beyond what you can even comprehend, not by forcing, not by doing like what we've been told, but simply by magnetizing through a frequency of potentiality, through a frequency of the new earth, the frequency of light, through the full embodiment, self-trust, nervous system regulation. And this is really where we're going. And for the next 2 years, this divide is going to make itself more and more apparent. And you get to decide here and now. And this really is why I wanted this podcast to feel like a sacred ceremony, because you get to decide which timeline you're stepping in. You get to decide today, and I invite you to journal and meditate further after this episode. Will you continue to subscribe to the scarcity mindset, to the fear? Will you completely unhook from the codes of Mother Nature, the codes of ancient civilizations? Or will you consciously, through intuition and through intention, decide to choose again? Decide to pioneer something new. Decide to be the light leader, the visionary that you know in your soul that you are. And if you decide to step into that journey, step into the new earth and the creation of that, it doesn't come with no responsibility. It's going to come with strong responsibilities and strong testing from the universe, of course. Because the universe wants to make sure that the people at the top of this new world are people that are here with the right heart, with an open heart, with the right intentions, so that the field is not distorted as it is right now. There is so much distortion in the field right now. When you tap into social media, mainstream platforms, traditional media, you can see how they're trying to play with your head, with your frequency, with your self-belief, the connection to your intuition and to your power through words, through fear, through politics, through war. But the truth is, the more you can connect back to your here and now, plug into Mother Nature and plug into groups of people that are doing this work, the more you will be shown acceleration pathways, the more the answers will come to you. The more you decide that there must be another way and you decide to commit to that, the more you decide that you are okay to let go of what was. And this actually is the very thing that will create the most divide. People that are clinging into the status quo, People that are not wanting anything to evolve, that are wanting everything to stay the same, will stay hooked in the fear. And unfortunately, this matrix is going to start crumbling upon itself. Structures, for sure, are going to start falling down. We see it already. It is not sustainable. And because the underground frequency is so distorted, it's so dark, it can't live if more of us are stepping into our light. So this is a time in your life, which is, by the way, why you came in this lifetime. This is why you raised your hand and you said, I want to come at this time because that's when it gets juicy. That's when I get to bring all my wisdom from my previous lifetimes. That's when I get to use all my gifts and all the things I have felt, I have experienced in my previous lifetimes. And this is when I get to put them together to literally create more light in the world so that we can restore the health of planet Earth, so that we can restore our own health, so that we can restore the light in our field, so that we can reopen this 5D reality, which is run by the frequency of love. And this is how we get to be more connected to things around us, to signs, to serendipity. This is how we get to pave for our children new schooling systems, new healthcare systems, new ways to take care of each other, new ways to heal each other, new ways for women to heal as groups and quantum leap. I shared recently in a post, like, nobody has time for 10 years of therapy anymore. And I mean it. Like, we have like the timelines of everything, like we can see from the solar codes and the Schumann resonance, everything is reaching its peak because we are being guided for this change. This change is impacting so many things in the universe. And so, again, I'm asking you to please not listen to this episode with your head, because your head is going to be, trying to figure out, but how is this the truth? Just ask your body, just ask your heart, because you know. And again, if you've been magnetized here on this platform, on this podcast, I can guarantee you, maybe on the surface it was to heal yourself, but deep down, it's because you saw the resonance in me. You saw the light in me is the light in you. And now, as we're coming in this timeline closure, the opening of a new one, you have to decide. You have to bring intention into your life and decide, is this it? Am I going for it? Am I going to be a leader of the light? Am I going to bring more light into this world simply by being me? Simply by acknowledging the power I have? Simply by tapping into more pleasure, more love, more fun, more play? Simply by releasing shame and guilt to be a woman, to be beautiful, to share our gifts, to use our voice? Do you see how easy yet difficult it is because we have such thick walls of programming, such a thick armor? But it's time to allow it to dissolve. It is time to start creating safety in the body. And frankly, this is what gets me so excited. And if we just go back on a quick timeline, the primary reason why I started this podcast in the very first place, February 2023, I started this podcast because I needed to reactivate my throat chakra, which was tight as a drum, which was closed up. I was so scared of sharing my thoughts, sharing my opinion, sharing my values, that I knew I needed to start opening that up, opening that life force energy by plugging into a mic and a vehicle. So for me, the Energy Upgrade podcast was more than just a podcast you tune into. It literally was a vehicle of healing. And I know you have felt that because I have read all your testimonials and your comments. And I know you felt this transmission. You felt this true, genuine vision I had for this container, for this vehicle. And it just blows my mind to just see how in just over 2 years, first of all, the level, the quality, and the depth of conversations we had here together, but also how now in such a short amount of time, I'm being called to not only use my voice even more, but to use all of my gifts. And that means bringing all my chakras back online in alignment. It means coming out of the spiritual closet. It means showing even more women the way back to light. It means really creating and pioneering something that has not been done yet. It is that big. Where I'm going and the vision I have for how I want to support you on this journey in creating the new world has not been done. And so I want to show you how to align your business from a place of frequency and soul remembrance. I want to show you how to utilize and master your frequency as the best vehicle that you can ever imagine to reignite your abundance, your birthright. And so I hope that as you're listening to this, you kind of, your body is like, whoo, getting activated. Perhaps you have goosebumps, tingles. Perhaps you feel some areas in your body that are feeling contracted right now. And please trust that anything your body is trying to communicate with you right now is in divine timing. It comes with a message. And so after this ceremony, I'm going to invite you to journal further, to go for a walk in nature, to ponder upon some of the things I shared with you here and see where do you want to go in the next 2 years, which will be instrumental in the creation. And so if you've been sitting on the sidelines, let me tell you, this is your call to jump back in the game. If you've been watching on the sidelines, there's a reason why you were watching on the sidelines. You were waiting for the invitation to step back on the field, and now it is. I'm giving you, it's like full permission granted, full green light. Now is it? And together we have about 2 to 5 years to turn things around, to bring hope back, to bring light back. And we can, because light travels so much faster. And remember, light is information. Darkness is lack of information. So no wonder when we hook onto fear and scarcity and any remnants of people pleasing and perfectionism and the pressure we put on ourselves, no wonder we feel so empty. We feel so undernourished. No wonder we feel so anxious. When we tap back into the light simply by activating our own, we actually feel more nourished. We feel a level of energy and well-being. Simply by being. And this is the biggest biohack you could ever hear from. I also see that this chapter of biohacking for me was definitely an accelerator. And yet at this point, it feels complete again. It feels like, okay, this gave me the physical tips and tricks I needed to be able to accelerate my healing, to be able to accelerate the quantum leaping. And now this new version of me knows that it's not going to come from optimization or performance. It's actually going to come from alignment and from frequency. So I'm very grateful for all the tools and all the knowledge and all the mentors that have taught me and shared with me all the things that brought me here. And I'm feeling so excited to bring that with me and build upon it, to compound over it. Now, does that mean biohacking is dead and doesn't mean biohacking is not good? Absolutely not. Again, I'm speaking from personal alignment and frequency, allowing you to feel that for yourself. I'm just sharing that this version of me is not the new one. This version of me feels complete. It was part of that timeline that feels like it's closing right now. And with that, I can tell you there is so much golden light. There is so much beauty that is emerging. And in fact, I am so, so, so excited to share what's coming. But for sure, what I can feel is that the codes of health, vitality, energy awareness, nervous system activation, emotional regulation, all the things that we have shared here on the Energy Upgrade podcast, it was our foundation. It was necessary. It was necessary for me, and I believe it was for you. And so I honor it with so much gratitude. I honor your presence and your deep listening and your presence week after week. For me, it's extremely meaningful, and I hope that it is for you. And the truth is, you see it. I have changed. I am changing in such a short amount of time. And so the spaces I create, the spaces I curate must change with me. If I want to lean into the frequency and not the strategy, I must honor that some things get to be completed and we get to tie them with a beautiful bow, and they get to stay here in the field available for you to plug back into. And I get to open new spaces that come with the new frequency of me, with my new identity. And so I don't want to just share, health upgrades and energy upgrades anymore. I'm really leaning into frequency-based sovereignty. And you'll see I'll speak a lot about light leaders and visionaries and temple builders and all the codes I received, like priestesses and goddesses, all the codes I received in Egypt. It was so big. It shook me to my core. It brought me back into the timeline. I'm here and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And whenever it feels like it's, loaded, fully loaded, I feel like it's maybe I feel at probably, 95% right now. 95% of the new codes feel locked and loaded. And instead of rushing them out, I actually want to feel them even more. I want to embody them even more. And so please stay tuned. Stay tuned by subscribing to my newsletter. Stay tuned by following me on social media. This is where you'll get all this new rebrand, all of this new information, all the new ways that we'll be able to connect together. And this is also where you'll hear the massive change my family and I are also orchestrating in the background. We've been at this for the last 4 months on top of everything else. And I can't wait to share even more about that. I think you'll understand why all of this is unfolding the way it is. For now, I'm gonna keep it in the mystic field, but please be assured that as soon as everything is cooked, embodied, that the frequency feels sovereign, that I will come and share that with you. So I'm here to teach and embody, not teach, I guess. I was here to teach energy. That was my mission with the energy upgrade. I was here to help you remember your energy. And now with this new chapter, I'm here to embody the light. I'm here to show you the path. I'm here to pioneer something that has not been done by very many women before. It's a big mission. It scares me at times, but every time I get back in the fear frequency, with sovereignty, I go back to my soul remembrance. I go back to my bigger mission, and I'm excited. So as we come to a close, my friends, as I mentioned, I invite you to journal further after this episode, to meditate and really sit with the information. Feel free to listen to this again and again as a transmission. And please, if there's any episodes that you missed because you were on vacation or too busy, this library is so potent. Don't forget, it's free. It's at your fingertip. You can plug back into all of this information, all of this knowledge anytime you need it, for as long as it's available. And right now, I'm not intending on removing it from our streaming platform. So please go back to it. And what would really, really feel extremely special to me is if you feel like sending me a testimonial, if you feel like sharing on social media, maybe snapping a picture of this episode and sharing how the energy upgrade impacted you, how it was meaningful in your own journey back to you, how it shifted and transformed you, I would be so honored to be reading those comments, to be tapping into your energy as well, and to be sharing that into the world so we can amplify this movement. And if you're feeling the shifts of what's coming, also do come and let me know, because right now I'm fully embodying the Jaguar energy, where I'm fully leading in the dark. I'm fully leading alone. I'm very clear on where I'm going. And I don't know, I'm not attaching any emotions or any meaning to what others will think about it. That's how clear I feel. And but if there's any mirroring or reflections you want to send me, I would, of course, welcome it in this time of massive, massive internal shifts for myself. So ladies, woman, sacred sister, I thank you. I honor you. I love you so much. This is not a goodbye. This is a new beginning. This is the timeline acceleration. And I'm inviting you both feed in to step into what's ahead for all of us, the creation of this new earth, this creation of this new world that revolves around light, that revolves around your light. Thank you for having been here with me, and we will see you very soon on a platform that we will discover together. I don't quite know yet, but we'll see how it wants to be emerging. I love you. I'll see you on the internet. The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grotman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.